How to become a morning person and get up at 5 a.m. without feeling sluggish. How do you make it feel seamless? Okay, one of the first things that you need to get rid of out of your entire life is just a blaring, blasting, terrible alarm clock. That is not how you want to shock yourself awake. When you get up early, you have these nice theta waves. Okay, theta waves I've talked about before. You switch from a delta wave to a theta wave, which is a very creative state, kind of almost a state of hypnosis when you first get up in the morning. If you have a super obnoxious alarm clock, that can kick you out of that state quite aggressively. It can also contribute to more cortisol spikes in the morning, which can disrupt your sleep as you go on, and it's just not exactly what you want. So yes, if you do use an alarm clock, you may want to have it kind of quiet. You don't want it super loud. Better yet, use light-based alarm clocks that shine light in your face, or use haptics. So if you have a phone or a watch or anything like that, you can set it to vibrate. You can use specific mattress covers or even pillow toppers that actually vibrate as the alarm system. This is a much more natural way to wake up, and it's going to make it so that it's not a bad experience. So that Pavlovian response we have to pay attention to. If it feels really horrible, you're going to naturally be stiff-arming it all the time. If it feels natural and relaxed, it's going to be a seamless part of your life. This is a huge step to being able to get up early and not hate it. This next one is really, really important. It has to do with our natural cortisol rhythms. Okay, you want to wait 30, preferably 60 minutes before having caffeine. Now, I've talked about this in other videos, but this first 30 minutes, like when you first get up, that is a delicate period of time that you could be doing creative work, that you could be allowing your brain to actually acclimate to the day. And if you roll out of bed and you just have caffeine straight up, although it amps you up, it doesn't get you the actual intention that you need out of your day. So you want to wait 30, 60 minutes for your cortisol levels to kind of balance back out before you add more stimulation and further spike those cortisol levels. What ends up happening is if you do that, next thing you know, you're waking up at 4, then you're waking up at 3:30 because you always have this preemptive cortisol spike and this preemptive glycogen dump that's called the dawn phenomena that might start waking you up earlier. So very important. Roll out of bed, sit quietly, do a little stuff yourself, maybe do some reading, some meditation, whatever, then have your caffeine. Next one is a very important tip. Regulating your gut microbiome. Now, we're recently finding in the research that the gut microbiome plays a role in our circadian rhythms. When we wake up, when we go to sleep, but we also have to factor in the digestive piece as well. It's very difficult to get up early in the morning, be able to do something like go to the gym or whatever, if you haven't done your business first thing. Now, I know a lot of people that get up in the morning and have to wait for their body's rhythms to get going, to go to the bathroom before they can really start their day. If you're having to wait an hour or an hour and a half for that to happen, that can be very disruptive. As crazy as it sounds and as grotesque as it sounds, if you just get up in the morning and you have a bowel movement straight away, you feel clearer, you feel fresher. So how do you manipulate that? Well, one of the best things you can do is utilize something like psyllium, like flax, or like chia, a few hours before bed. That way, the transit time aligns with about when you wake up. So generally speaking, you have like 12-ish or so hours of transit time. If you have soluble fiber like psyllium or flax a few hours before bed, along with quite a bit of water a few hours before bed, that fiber is going to move through your system and help you be regular first thing in the morning. So you can utilize your gut microbiome and fiber to time when you wake up. What's crazy is that a lot of times I get woken up by the fact that I need to go to the bathroom right around 5 a.m. It also just happens to coincide with my natural time that I would wake up. So I'll wake up at 5:05 without even an alarm clock because I'm like, oh, you know what? It's time to go to the bathroom. Get up, go to the bathroom, off we go. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can kind of manipulate your probiotics a little bit. So what I would recommend is as you're starting to try to change habit, incorporate probiotics or prebiotic and probiotic rich foods. What this is going to do is it's going to help manipulate the gut microbiome a little bit more as well. I popped a link down below for the probiotic that I recommend. It's called Seed. Now, Seed is a symbiotic, so it has a prebiotic and a probiotic in it. So that link down below gets you 20% off your entire order through Seed. So you get 20% off their daily symbiotic, which has a capsule inside of a capsule. Really cool delivery technology for the probiotics. So they're getting delivered at different stages through the digestive tract. Really, really cool stuff. So special link down below for 20% off, and a big thank you to Seed for the support on this channel. This next one is an inexpensive trick because nowadays there are a lot of devices like this that are much more affordable than they were even 2 or 3 years ago. Utilizing red light shortly after you wake up. Okay, now you might be thinking I have to go buy this big expensive red light therapy device. Realistically, you don't even have to do that. You could get some more inexpensive red light therapy bulbs if that was the cheaper route for you to go, or you could get a more robust device. But what this is going to do is it's going to help naturally align your circadian cues. So you're going to get up in the morning, you're going to take 15-20 minutes time for yourself where it's still a little bit dark, and then you're going to sit in front of the red light for 10 minutes or so. Do some reading in red light. As weird as it sounds, this is going to start the cycle of allowing you to get up early and feeling more awake. In fact, I had my wife try this, and she was able to even delay when she would have her tea or coffee by about 45 minutes because the red light would actually make her feel awake. This is something that I'd been doing for a long time and looked like a total weirdo, and then I turned her onto it, and she's like, wow, this actually makes sense. So give it a shot. Inexpensive red light therapy, or if you want to go a more robust one, you can get the proper devices that are usually a couple $100. This next one is a nutrition tip. Lower carbs with breakfast. Why do I say this? Well, a lot of times what people find is the moment they start bringing in a bunch of carbohydrates to their breakfast, they feel almost jittery, like their glucose levels spike and they just don't feel very good. What I have noticed is that if you have a higher protein breakfast and a higher fat breakfast, it tends to A, satiate you a little bit more, but also doesn't send you on a blood sugar roller coaster ride. Now, what this can do for you is it can allow, once again, you're aligning with circadian clock genes. There was a study in BMC Medical Genomics that kind of demonstrated this. You want to have more food in the morning. You can get away with more protein, a little bit more fat in the morning as well. So this allows you to just kind of go with the natural rhythm of your body. This next one is you want to work out after your cortisol dump. What does that mean? Well, if you roll right out of bed and you go straight into a workout, this can be beneficial for a lot of things because you're not really thinking about it. But what you do want to do is similar to your caffeine intake, you want to allow the cortisol levels to come down a little bit first. So if you get up in the morning, you roll out of bed and you immediately run out the door and start going for a run, you are having a cortisol spike on top of an existing cortisol spike. This is a lot of sympathetic tone for the nervous system. This is a lot going on. What I would highly recommend you do is still give it that 20, 30, 40 minutes before you go work out. The higher the intensity workout, the more you may want to wait. So if you're going to have a high intensity workout, wait for 45 or 60 minutes. If you're just going to do some aerobic work, you can probably get away with 30. The next one is utilizing a cold shower rather than caffeine. Okay, so I'm all about caffeine. But what I want you to try doing is rather than adding something that's going to stimulate you to be totally amped out, try doing something that gives you a shot of adrenaline or epinephrine, like a cold shower, in place of coffee. Try doing this for the first couple of weeks as you're trying to become a morning person. This way you're not just plugging in one additional crutch of caffeine, you're actually doing something that's more natural and your body's able to establish routine that way. Then once you feel like that is normal, and you don't feel like it's as much of a shock and you feel like you're naturally waking up a little bit more, then you can bring the caffeine back in. Now, the last tip that I have is in order to develop a little bit more tolerance of caffeine, try alternating your caffeine days. Go cold shower one day, caffeine the next day. Cold shower one day, caffeine the next day. You have this alternating system that allows you to not build up so much of a tolerance to caffeine, allowing you to maybe be a little bit more awake in the morning, but also getting the benefits of a cold shower without making it so routine that they lose their effectiveness. As always, keep it locked in here on my channel. See you tomorrow.